The article I chose first to talk about is titled "What Does Intellectual Humility Look Like?" And it starts off by just kind of briefly discussing how there are different situations in which a person might have too little or too much confidence, and how most people think they're right when they get in a disagreement. And there's also this thing called the overconfidence bias, which can lead to bad decisions and just poor overall judgment. And the awareness of one's infallibility, and being aware and accepting the fact that you might be wrong is what the article defines intellectual humility as. And it's also important to keep in mind that a person may need to revise their views when new evidence comes in, when new evidence is brought to their attention. And someone with high intellectual humility also pays attention to the quality of the evidence and the understanding that is brought to them, because they're curious about the world and they want to constantly be learning and growing. The second article I found was titled Lessons from Cultivating Forgiveness in Faith-Based Communities. The author, this one was really interesting. The author did forgiveness workshops and campaigns in across like different religious college campuses. And the campaigns, that was just like putting posters up around campus. It was very passive interaction between the author and the students. Whereas the workshops, there's a lot more activity involved in it, and the students had a much more active role where they were actively participating, actively learning. And the author found that the workshops had a much bigger effect, and they had a lot longer lasting effect than just the campaign on their own. And one of the interventions was just when someone is faced with a situation where they have to forgive, it's to treat the offender humanely, which I thought was really interesting. And some of the takeaways from the workshops that he did was that it's important to have the leaders engaged in the workshops, not just have the students. And then also make sure the messages are very clear and that the lessons being taught are practical to real life. Connecting the articles to the course, it's very important that I'm open to being wrong. I mean, math can be difficult. Sometimes you need help, and that's okay to ask for that help. And also looking at and taking in everything that's presented to me and being naturally curious, which I already am a naturally curious person. So I like taking in evidence. I like taking in other people's opinions and views and what they do before I make my own decision. One thing that was surprising, especially from the intellectual humility article, was the amount of people who think they are right when they get in a disagreement. The statistic was 82%, which I figured it would be high, but not that high. That was the figure itself really surprised me. And then also the importance of being an active participant in the workshops on forgiveness, especially because like the campaign versus the workshops, like the effect of that, the difference in effect really surprised me.